Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome into the Winklerverse alongside Grant Bills, always eating that Grant, and Paul Immig, usually the same.
Not
Remember when we would record in the morning, Paul would just be scarfing down eggs.
That's you know how it is with intermittent fasting. Like, you can relate.
Yeah, I tried intermittent fasting last night, and then these Jack and Coke cans, man, they are.
Some of those cocktails in a can, Cutwaters.
Cutwater. I got a Cutwater.
Booze.
If I drank one right now, I'd be drunk by the end of this. 12.5%.
Me too.
But the problem is there's 360 calories in the margarita ones, which is a lot for a drink. That's like a sandwich.
Yeah.
That's pretty insane.
I tried a White Russian this last weekend. Not as good as the ones at the casino.
Yeah, the White Russian ones, I wasn't kind of into those
either. A lot of places are burning down. What's with all the bars and restaurants around here burning down? Anyways.
Insurance money typically is what would happen in Fond du Lac. Fond du Lac, there was one bar a year that would burn down, and then the guy'd be like, well, I don't know what happened. Check clears Friday. Oh, okay. Thank you for anyone that listened to my interview with AJ Perez for the documentary. I'm Brett Favre, Untold, The Fall of Favre. I followed up with AJ today, and I told him, I got a quick review for you. First of all, I enjoyed it, and I said, you will get goosebumps. As a Packer fan, you will get goosebumps watching this documentary. And then as it progresses, you'll feel guiltier and guiltier for the goosebumps that you felt. It's pretty intense in terms of like, yeah, Favre sucks. Bill Michaels is a star. My God. He's in it a lot. I haven't watched it
yet, but Zach told me the same thing. He's like, dude, Bill's in this nonstop.
He's at one point, it's like, is this a documentary on Bill?
Was he good? Like, did he have the cadence? And my dream is to be, I think it's yours too. Like, interview me for something as an expert, because I will have the cadence. I'll have the because I watch so many of these things. Like,
there's one shot where he says something like kind of emotional. He's not emotional about it, but he says it, and they leave the camera on him like 1 or 2 seconds longer than they need to.
That's yep, I can see it
Bill
clearly.
doesn't have, he's not like choked up about anything, but they leave it on there just so you can like.
He looks contemplative.
Yeah. Michael Vick's in it for no fucking reason other than to say people like quarterbacks. It's funny. Jen Sturger, like, wow, she got a raw deal. That sucks for her. And I didn't realize do you know how she was like, quote unquote, found?
No.
She was at a Florida State Miami football game.
She was one of the one that who's the announcer?
Mutzberger.
Yeah. Okay, I did know that.
And he goes, well, 1,500 people just signed up for Florida State. And then later she meets Brent Musburger in like her new job. And she's like, this is the man that started my career. And I thought he'd be like, oh, yeah, but he's just flat out old man. One of the more attractive cutaways we've ever had.
I want to say that Musburger also did that for Lana of WWE fame.
Oh, maybe.
Like there's been a few where it's like Musburger being an old perv has
boosted a lot of careers. But yeah, I definitely would recommend it on Netflix.
How long was it?
1 hour, 3 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Beautiful.
Now, for me, it was 1 hour, 7 minutes because I recently went to the commercial tier of Netflix.
You poor bastard.
I was at $18 a month for commercials when they jacked it up again for no commercials, for premium. I'm like, so now I'm paying $9 a month. And it's not. Now, what I've noticed with Monday Night Raw is when I watch it on my phone, the commercials you can't skip. But then On the TV, you can just fast forward it.
Oh, if you're right, because you're not watching it live, because
I'm not watching it live.
We like the commercial break sometimes in our shows because it gives us a chance to debrief about what we just saw and settle in so we're prepared for the next,
Yes, commercial breaks. I agree with you.
I think doing a show, commercial breaks are good. Watching one, I won't watch things with commercials. I won't.
But you need the debrief time.
No, you don't. You need the debrief when it's over.
You like to remove the human element to so many things.
Yeah.
As many things as possible.
Let me consume this. I mean, if you could inject a TV show into an
Put
IV,
the words out of my mouth.
That's how you would consume a show.
Have you guys
watched, a bad thing.
Have you guys watched Severance? No, not yet. Oh, hold on. Wow.
Tell me
really good.
Tell me you wouldn't do that if you could.
Or like this one, the Cobell episode.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. Oh yeah. Oh, that was a gross one. What
maybe it would have tasted better if it wasn't just after the Miss Casey episode.
True. What percent of you guys know I love NBA playoffs, especially. What percent of the free throws do you think I watch as I DVR through a game?
You're such a sicko.
Wow.
I'd say less than 10% would be the answer. Wow. I have it down to pretty much a science, like a 2 free throw set, and I mean, like in a play, it's like 40-ish seconds. So you're somewhere between like 2 Apple TV clicks, which are 15 seconds a piece, or 3. So then you're like, okay, do I want to watch the? Yeah. I think.
Well, with that being said, that's what I just did, and now.
I did ask this.
What?
Grant, you may not know the answer to this question yet, but I don't think Bill would have a problem saying this publicly. I would love to know what he got paid, if he got paid. I would assume he got paid.
I don't know.
I don't know. If a documentary called me and was like, I want you to be in this documentary, would I like ask for money?
I don't think it's about asking for money as much as it's like, hey, it's about like, hey, we'd like to take 4 hours of your time. We'll give you $1,000 for your time. I would assume
if Netflix called me to be in that documentary, I would have said yes for free.
Of course, and I would too, but they probably won't. They would probably it's not that you.
Although I'm a member of the Screen Actors Guild, so I don't know that I could.
See, that's actually Grant's giggling a little bit, but I think that's a real actual question.
They flew to him. They came to his house. It was one day. It was a long day. I mean, if he was in it that much, consider how much other crap they filmed.
I'm gonna bet he got $5,000.
You know who the real winner of the day is? It's Stevens Point Brewing. Point Brewing. That neon is behind him for the whole thing. They got on Netflix just because the sign is in his studio. Wow.
Big time. Wow. Grant, find out that question for me.
I should scatter some of my show merchandise around. It's just here and there.
Just in case
stick a sticker on the file cabinet or something. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe Hulu will come calling. I don't know.
You know what you really should have done, Grant, is you should have like printed on huge paper you're back and forth with Christian Watson's dad. Quick hung it behind Bill.
Yep. A missed opportunity, and I won't get it again because he blocked me, sadly. But yeah, I'm excited to watch that thing tonight. It'll be fun. I mean, it won't be fun. What a not great human being. So
you guys want some local sportsisms or a quick national sports topic? I don't know what nationalism is.
I'm feeling nationalism. I'm feeling real. What about you, Bart?
I have a strong sense of nationalism as well, Grant.
But you do that as your day job. Do you ever get sick of all the nationalism? Like, sorry, I didn't consider that.
I like Bart. Speaking of your interview with AJ Perez, you said something toward the end where you were like, "You don't need to tell me. I host the midnight show on the. I host the show."
He goes, doing documentaries, you get a lot of no's. I'm like, I host a show at midnight.
Trust me, I'm used to getting no's. Yeah, I like your self-deprecation. I wish more people had it.
All I'm going to say on this is, I tweeted this earlier, my career goal now is to be in a media position down the road where hopefully some scandal befalls Craig Counsell and Netflix will come calling about the collapse of Counsell one day, and then I get to be in that. That's my new goal. It's a long con, and a lot has to happen, but I'm remaining hopeful.
For the first time in NBA history, there will be 7 different champions in 7 seasons. This is good for the NBA. Mm-hmm. Or mm-mm.
Well, I'm going to say mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I'll show you what I showed Grant prior, if I may.
Yes, and I'm looking to be persuaded because I go into this one not knowing my answer.
Well, I would like to introduce you to a project my son and I have done.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm glad I'm in this room because the other day, as he was learning the playoffs, and I thought, will he understand the playoffs? Because he's so into the regular season, looking at scores every day. And then he wanted to know, I showed him the Bucks winning on DVR and got the Goosies. But then he wanted to know who's won the whole thing. That's how he refers to it. Who's won the whole thing? And he goes, Daddy, I need to see. I go, well, how do you want me to? He goes, write them down. So on my easel here, you will see the list of every team's name.
Can you go closer?
Yes. And it shows you how many times each team has won the championship.
Okay.
And it really is quite astonishing when you see how many zeros and ones there are in the NBA.
Oh, yeah.
Because we were going zeros first, then ones, then twos. Then we jumped to 3 and a 5 and a 7 and then a 17 and an 18. Here are the current matchups as of this recording. Neither conference final has started.
I want to hope that that's his handwriting on those 4.
On those 4, that's his handwriting.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
These are also his hearts that he drew by teams that are still alive.
Interesting.
Yes. Okay. So,
I also thought when you originally showed me, there's a lot of zeros and ones. Who's winning all these titles? The league's been around a long time.
How many years has the NBA been around? 80? What's the exact number?
Wait, I mean, again, like you're saying including the pre-merger era?
Yeah.
We're not Celtics fans. I don't count that crap.
I would have said like 70?
At least 75. There was a 75 all-time team.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But, okay, so with that, the Celtics have won 18 times. The Lakers have won 17. That's 35. That's nearly half. Add the Warriors 7. That's 42 times between 3 teams. So it is better for the NBA. You remember those 4 years it was Cavs, Warriors back-to-back. And none of those years was it like, wow, I can't believe this happened again. It was, you knew at the start of the regular season what the final was going to be.
100%.
So this is better. And I did see a fresh take on the CBA, which is on its surface very stupid. Teams are screwed. There's no way to get better. The Cavs are screwed. The Nuggets are screwed. The Bucks and Celtics are screwed.
I will say the only thing that's not screwed is Oklahoma City because they still have this plethora of picks. But
well, what does pressure make, Paul?
Pressure makes diamonds.
It does. And for these teams to get a ring, they are going to be feeling now ultimate pressure. Because if you don't win with the little group you've assembled, that's your chance.
Yeah.
It's not, oh, well, this Cavs team, you know how we used to say with the Brewers when I called the radio station drunk and yelled at everybody and was right. I'm going to post that, I think, somewhere.
That's too aggressive for Blue Sky, but okay.
Is that, well, we had a nice run. We'll be back next year. Will you? So these teams have a tighter window, which means the playoffs are already desperate. But if you lose, it's like, all right, next year. There may not be a next year. Yeah. So it's I think, going to lead to the playoffs being better. Now, what this will do, and what I'm fine with it doing, is I did not like that the offseason was more entertaining than the actual sport.
For sure.
This is going to change that. So the offseason now is like, Fred VanVleet wants a trade. Okay. So because the playoffs have been terrific.
Yes.
They've been great. Even like, Game 7 wasn't an all-time classic. the Nuggets took the Thunder to Game 7, man.
For sure.
And the twist and turns in that series.
Yeah.
So I think that it is better. It's an adjustment period. But even like now, you've got the Thunder who haven't won. They won as the Sonics. I don't know if they're counting that or not. It's weird. I think Seattle gets the rights to the Supersonics, but if you look at the Thunder history, they still claim.
It's like the Ravens and the previous Browns, right?
But it's not.
It's not?
Because the new Browns are claiming the old Browns.
Oh, really?
It'd be like if the Ravens claimed the old Browns and then the new Browns were just fresh.
Strange sidebar, though. But before the new Browns came, the Ravens did have the Browns history. And then when the new Browns came, they claimed it. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the Thunder haven't won. The Timberwolves have not won. The Pacers have not won. And the Knicks, like, it still feels like, it's not like, it's not like a bunch of small market weirdos. You still got your Knicks, but they haven't won since 73.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a new city that's going to be reinvigorated that for the longest time, like this time of the year wasn't anything for them. And I think that's good. And please give us Knicks Wolves.
Ooh, okay. I want Knicks Thunder, but okay.
To see that trade, though.
Oh, I see what you're saying. The Randall Gobert, sure.
Yeah, I mean, the Thunder, I want to see them too, but I want to see Knicks Wolves specific, that matchup.
I think that's interesting. I think the only thing that would stop, I mean, the Thunder, I want to go back to this question, but the Thunder are clearly the best of these 4 remaining teams. Or Whoa. I mean, I don't even think it's close.
God, the nerds love the Thunder. You just want the Thunder to win.
No, I think the Thunder are the best, but I think the Thunder are like, they're still figuring this out.
Power rank the Final 4 then, Grant.
I don't know that you can. Look, I'm not saying that the Thunder might be the best team.
I think Timberwolves are too.
I just don't think they're far and away the best team.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So
let's go back to the title. I'm not going to say that they're the prohibitive. No, like I think the Wolves could beat them.
I think they could. I certainly don't think they will if both teams stay marginally healthy. Grant, going back like 3 minutes when Bart was saying the thing about Warriors Cavs and you knew before the season that was what was going to happen, you kind of held your heart. Oh my, you were so nostalgically, you were in such a beautiful place.
For the 4-year war between Golden State and Cleveland. Yeah, I miss it.
Me, I'm like, I hated that era.
And even Heat Spurs a couple times in a few years. I loved that too.
I watched it. I think back on it with an open mind, but in the moment I was like, again, I know this is a take that you guys have, but I remember watching Heat Spurs, looking at the court color and the jersey color and being like, this doesn't look important. I know that's just a stupid thing. That
no, the Spurs, their color scheme has ruined like how we historically think of them.
It's a strange take, but it is a real one for me.
But are we going to be in the same way? Like if we see the Pacers and the Thunder, is that going to feel like an NBA Finals? Because when it was Nuggets Heat, you're like, what the fuck is this?
And that's a Grant Bills special right there. Is that take right there? I think the NBA, and I don't just say this as a Pacers hater, I do think the NBA needs it to be Knicks someone to have like that connection to the past, like that connection to the big. It doesn't have because it's New York. It just has to be because it's one of those name teams, and the fact that it's a name team that doesn't have actual real success. It's like people always think, like the Cowboys, what a great franchise. They're a shit franchise. The Knicks are a shit franchise for the entirety of our lifetimes. And I mean, it's like, okay, well, like the Starks and Ewing era, like sure, but like they didn't really do anything of real consequence during that time period. They were an entertaining team that I watched a lot. But so I'm gonna say before Grant answers, I think I was leaning a certain direction, but I did not have an answer coming in. If it ends up being like Pacers Wolves, I mean, I don't know. I guess I have to see it for it to happen. I think the only thing that could be good, the only reason that my answer could be that the parity of all 4 of these teams being sort of underdogs is I do think that the David Goliath story is a fun one. If it would have been like Thunder Celtics, Wolves Celtics, you would have had like the good guy and the bad guy. So as I watch Knicks Pacers, me, and I know Bart shares the opinion, I can watch that as babyface Knicks, super heel Pacers. And so I can watch it from that perspective and be like, like rooting, like truly, like more than I would root for a Bucks team to like, I'd rather the Pacers lose than the Bucks win type of thing. Like that's a more prominent feeling. But if it's, I don't know. So I'm going to say, the parity is good for the NBA, but I can also see getting to the finals of like a Wolves Pacers and being like, this isn't the finals. So I withhold the possibility of changing my mind if I see it and it's just like, that's not, well, that doesn't feel right. That doesn't
That's not a Buick.
But for now, I'm going to say, good for the NBA. Grant Bills, first time in NBA history, 7 different champions in 7 seasons. Good for the NBA.
There's a correct answer to this. I talked about this when I go on our Rock Morning show once a week, and we talked about this morning. In the here and now, it would be way better for us to have LeBron versus Steph in the conference finals.
Sure.
The East, the Celtics are like the big brand, but I don't think they move the needle for a lot of people. So set the East to the side because we weren't getting that version of that thing out of the East anyways. So like the best thing, let's just focus on the West. The best thing in the here and now, what we would have got our rocks off to is like LeBron Steph. But like long term, next year and beyond, it's best for the league for Shea or Anthony Edwards to like legitimize themselves and take a step. It's not going to be as fun and as exciting this year because I'm like, okay, Oklahoma City. But then when we come back next year, all of a sudden the Timberwolves, if they were to advance, make the finals or win the finals, all of a sudden the Timberwolves being a matinee on Sunday, we look at them with a little bit more seriousness. And then when they're in the playoffs next year, there's more seriousness and there's more buy-in from fans when they're on TV, right? Or it's the Thunder, right? It doesn't have to be the Wolves. I think the same is true of like Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers too. Like if they make the finals, they take a step up and we would be reaping those benefits as NBA fans for years to come. Whereas here and now, like I'd rather have LeBron Steph, but that's like eating a bunch of candy. Like what's good, what feels good right now versus what is good for you. I think whatever version of what we're going to get is like vegetables. It's going to be good for us long-term, even though it's not going to taste as good right now.
Good take. And I'll do this parallel and this analogy for Bart and other wrestling fans. It does. And I didn't think of this coming in, Bart, but it reminds me of like that era of WWE, like 10-ish years ago, when they quote like couldn't make a new star. And because they just kept leaning on the past and they just like, how long can we do this before we don't have any top stars? Because we would never give the Timberwolves of the WWE and the Pacers.
I don't know what that was. Did an EMP just strike Paul?
I think something struck his house. Are you?
Am I back?
There we got you back. Yes.
We thought you got like EMP'd.
I actually could keep hearing you. I don't know if it's like the little ding thing happened and it just threw off the feed, but I was not sure how much of it you caught, but it was this idea of like they need to create the new stars so they don't get in a position post Steph, post LeBron, where it's like, the NBA don't even know the preferred conference finals and NBA finals match.
Like how college is now. There's
names and big stars. You need to create the new stars so that you then, in 2 years, Grant, after you've eaten your vegetables for a few years, now that same vegetable is actually a nice steak, to keep with the analogy. So,
well, and maybe WWE is a good comp because in order to create one star, don't you kind of have to have that star have a moment taking down one from the older generation?
Well, and that's just it. It's like when you'd have, and this is the thing that always, frustrated me and I'm sure Bart and others who enjoy the WWE product, but it's like Kevin Owens comes up and then beats Cena 10 years ago. But then he got fed to him 2 more times. And it was like, okay, Cena got his wins back or whatever. When you can, it's kind of like my idea of, I think my answer is that the parity is good. But I think like the best thing is if you had the up and coming Thunder, the up and coming Wolves against the Warriors, against the Lakers, you had the year after year perennially great team with the name recognition and the superstar player. You have your John Cena, but then you have your young Kevin Owens trying to get that guy off of the pedestal to become the new team. When you don't have that and you have like David against David, to kind of continue with that, it's like, I think it's going to be great, but it might not have that same, like, they took them down. They took down the big overarching team, guy, franchise, whichever analogy you want to use with this. So I guess it remains to be seen maybe what the right answer is, but I'm going to lean that the parity is good because I know I don't want the opposite. I did not want when Kevin Durant signed with the Warriors back when I would actually post on Twitter. I remember posting something to the effect of like the NBA title was just decided on July 4th. He signed on July 4th. It was over. That title had been decided. There was nothing left to debate. Like it was the season had been decided. That sucks. I don't want that. So I think this is better than that for me.
I like with the Knicks, like you're talking about how they've been a bad franchise.
Mm-hmm.
They're good now because James Dolan just decided not to be shitty.
Did he though?
Well, he
decided that he was going to go focus on building the sphere and do other things, and
he gave Leon Rose, the ability to do what he wants to do. But for a long time, he used to meddle. And I think what is crazy when you have a shitty owner is what are your options? If you have a bad coach, fire. Bad GM, fire. There's light at the end of the tunnel. If you have a bad owner, either he needs to sell the team, which nobody ever does.
Yeah.
He needs to die and give it to his kids, which is always worse. And then the other way is he just decides to be good. And he just decided to be good.
Well, he decided to go away and to not, which
is clearing the bar for being good.
And I do think if you said, and I'll go back to what I said earlier about Knicks comparing to the Cowboys. I think if you did like a man on the street thing and you went up to be like, name 5 NFL teams. I think the majority of people after 1,000 interviews, like a vast majority, one of the 5 they would name would be the Cowboys. I think the same thing would be said of the Knicks. You ran up to 1,000 people in the street, name 5 NBA teams, go. Like the Knicks are going to be said. And yet both these teams, historically speaking, are dog shit. Like poorly run, poorly managed, haven't actually won anything. I think people I think it's like you'd still say, oh yeah, the Knicks and Cowboys, they win enough. I think like they're good teams. They're not. Neither has been truly actually relevant in Grant's lifetime.
It is 80 fucking degrees in this room.
I knew whatever was about to be the thing out of your mouth would have nothing additive to what Paul just said. Why did I? It's exactly how that was going to go.
Our expectations were low, but holy shit.
Maybe the sequencing could be a little bit better, right? If we're trying to play Kingmaker in the West, maybe it would be better if the Wolves or the Thunder had knocked off the Lakers
now
or Jokic in the conference finals.
Yes.
Right. Or in the NBA final. The sequencing could have been a little bit more dramatic, but they have both of these teams, the Thunder and the Wolves, on their way to this point, have both knocked off kind of a legitimate incumbent, I guess maybe would be the right word. I wish there was one coming out of the East, but the only one coming out of the East would have been the Celtics, and that wouldn't move the needle for me, and I don't think it would move the needle for most people. That's not the LeBron heat. You know what I mean?
I agree. And it also, of course, would have lost all of the luster to then beat the Tatum-less Celtics at that point. Then there's really nothing. Then they're practically an underdog. Who would have been favored, the Tatum-less Celtics or the Pacers?
Well, Jaylen Brown's legacy took a big step when the Celtics won Game 5, at least according to some. Bart was telling me about that. So,
and Bart, have you talked about on the national level yet the ridiculousness, no pun intended, based on your MTV conversation from last week, the absurdity, let's say, of this idea of every NBA player after losing a series has a bad knee injury, has a bad this injury.
I didn't bring that up. The last time I brought that up was with Kirk Cousins, where he's like, "Oh yeah, I was hurt last year."
It's reached a point now where in the 12 hours that follows a team,
Jaylen Brown had a torn meniscus.
I mean, I don't think they're lying, but I also don't believe them. I know
you don't want to call someone a liar for that, but you can do a big eye roll, or maybe one of the.
Yeah.
Or get a load of this guy. I can do a couple of those.
Yeah.
Can
I say one more thing? Or you got it.
I just had a quick YouTube announcement.
Hang on that for one thought, because I do want to ask about. It's our weekly tradition now with Giannis, but I'm going to tell you why I think it's relevant as we segue into it, and it's the Bucks window. we could do this as the Bucks window is closed for the next 3 years. Like maybe they get out of it, whether they with or without Giannis. But I'm just going to say I think the Bucks' current window is closed. And again, maybe so too is the Celtics. Maybe so too is the Nuggets. Maybe so too, is the Lakers. If they hadn't gotten the miraculous Luka trade or whatever. But even with it, it does encourage me as someone who already is at peace with the Bucks potentially trading Giannis. In fact, is in favor of it happening because I think it's better for the health of the franchise. These are the type of like parity moves where it's like you just have to move on. You get 3 years and you move to the next thing. I'm not saying it's a good thing for the NBA that this is happening, and it's Bart, to your point about earlier of like the new collective bargaining agreement. You're not going to have 5-year like camaraderie windows where you have the same 4 to 5 key players. And the Bucks have, and I think like now that's over and it sucks and it's whatever, but I think we just have to accept with parity being what it is, with the CBA being what it is, with the chance to like be a multiple time champion in a 5-year window, seemingly being impossible, at least we're about to have our 7th new champion in 7 years. It just kind of makes me further inclined to punt and be like, all right, what's the next era for Bucks basketball?
No, I don't want to do that.
I know you emotionally don't, but I'm saying I think the smart move is like, as evidenced by this 7 new champions in 7 years thing, that like this era has, it doesn't mean they should trade him or shouldn't, but I'm saying I think we have to accept that like this has concluded. And if they keep him for nostalgia reasons or because they couldn't get a good trader because Giannis is too loyal to ask for the trade, those things are all fine. But like this era is obviously over. It doesn't mean that in 5 years that Giannis is still a Buck and they can't have recovered and, had salary cap space in the year 2028. They can. That could totally happen.
Yeah.
But right now, like here and now, they're obviously in big trouble. All right, Bart, go ahead.
Well, I have to say something about my YouTube channel that isn't going to be unpleasant for those of you that subscribe. Please like and subscribe. But first of all, Happy Place Hemp. Subscribe to them. The promo code is BART. Well, I don't think they have a subscription model, but you can just set an alarm every 2 weeks to make sure you get their products. The gummies, the tinctures, the lip balms, the dog treats, the CBD, CBN for sleepy time, the THC, the infused drinks, which I wish were around like a long time ago. But they're here now, and I can only enjoy what I have to enjoy in the time that I have to enjoy it. Wise words. HappyPlaceHemp.com. The promo code is BART, 25% off every order. Promo code is BART, 25% off every order. They've been with us for multiple years, and guess what? The code still works every time. So check them out, Happy Place Hemp. I have been going through my old videos of, News Channel 8 or whatever. And I have a bunch of videos that I want to put on YouTube. The problem is to put them on YouTube, they have to, if you subscribe, it's like, hey, there's a new email. If you subscribe to YouTube, you get a notification that there's a new video.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm doing a video dump of like a lot of different political videos that I have. And I'm going to put them out on Memorial Day because that's an American day. So maybe this is pro. Because I just wonder if one of these will like hit. I don't know. What do I have from 2008? I have, let's see. I have, well, you know what I could do is I could show you. Would that be exciting?
Sure. Show us your best one.
Let's
see. One.
I'm going to share my screen and you're going to see my YouTube channel content. What do we have coming up? We have John Edwards, Democratic president, visits lacrosse.
Wow.
We have a 29-minute John McCain stump speech. We have Al Franken Q&A for about 7 minutes when in 2008, he was campaigning for, 2005 this is from, he was campaigning for the first time Tim Waltz ever ran for anything. I was there.
Huckabee.
Mike Huckabee came to town, reported on that. My interview with Obama, the full thing. So those are all dropping, along with a short I made of Chelsea Clinton talking about what it was like being raised by Hillary Clinton. So you're going to get alerts for those on Memorial Day if you subscribe to the YouTube. So apologies to anyone who doesn't want them, but maybe an incentive for those that do. Thank you for your time and attention to this matter.
Thanks to Dan Schani. Wow.
Right. Big time thanks.
Well, I'm looking forward to that, Bart. I'll speak for just myself, but I know I'm looking forward to consuming some of those videos on Monday.
The 28-minute Q&A of John McCain. Just, I mean, what better way to use your time?
Can you report back? I want you to share your screen.
The views I get?
More of like how long the duration of like this 29-minute was. Like how far did the average person get through of it?
Oh, time spent watching or time spent listening?
Would you like to know what the average is of how many people watch these?
You know, I don't know that
500 or something. What, 400 or 500? Oh, you're saying the time length of it or the total people?
Yeah, if the people that watch it, how long they watch it for?
I'm gonna guess 12-minute average.
The last one was a 46-minute show, 20-minute average.
Oh, that's pretty good.
It's not bad.
Yeah. We're at 36 now, so no one's.
We're holding their. Yeah, nobody got my announcement. Yeah. Okay. Pretty good. Pretty good. Analytics, stats. What's all? It's stuff you nerds like.
Sabermetrics.
I did make a Bartle.
Oh, at the Brewer game, I'm looking at the scoreboard. It says MVR on the scoreboard.
Yep. I know where you're going with this.
It's like because my kid wants to know what is on the board. I go, those are hits, runs, errors, or runs, hits, and then he's like, well, what's that? And then he goes, what's MVR? And I go, I have no fucking idea.
I don't know what you're talking about.
On the Brewers scoreboard, it says MVR.
What is it?
It's like as common as hits, runs, errors.
What is it?
Mound visits remaining.
Yeah, something that doesn't matter nearly as much as the other things.
Mound visits remaining
on the scoreboard.
For those of you keeping track at home.
They used to have it like as a small single digital thing in left field. Like it was its own little square mound visits remaining.
Like the K counter for strikeouts.
Sure. So now it's I don't like that at all.
Me neither.
Quick conclusion on an NBA topic. I made a suggestion that I think you should do, which is the 8 best remaining or 10 NBA players remaining in the NBA playoffs for Bartometer.
Oh, I was going to do who would benefit from a title the most. That's my old standby.
Okay.
Probably
from the Thunder, Knicks, Pacers, and Wolves. I'd say Tom Thibodeau.
He's number 1.
What?
Honestly, like James Dolan. Leon Rose.
Timothy Chalamet.
He cannot climb any higher. There's no way that he can already win more than he's winning right now.
He is surfboarding on the sun.
Yeah.
He's catching a wave on the solar flares, my friends.
Whatever hit Paul's house, that's what he was riding with the surfboard.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
John Halliburton.
Hey, I got a question about value. So a 6-pack of these, this is not a paid endorsement, of Mountain Dew Zeros, which are so refreshingly crisp, by the way.
Yeah, I can only imagine how refreshing it'd be if you're not drinking it out of a plastic bottle that makes it taste warmer, but I bet it's good. Sorry, continue.
So these are $6.99 at Metro.
For a 6-pack?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the other day it was buy 2, get 2 free. So if you're able to sell these for essentially $3.50, shouldn't they just always be $3.50?
I feel like they could sell them for $2 and still make money.
So let's break down economics, shall we? I literally,
if you're gonna jack up the price, I don't know. All right, what else you got?
but I will say, I literally explained to my son last night. There was this toy he wanted on Amazon, and it's usually $9, and then for some reason last week it was $6, but then it's back to $9. And I said, he's trying to save up money. And I said, buddy, it's $9 again. He goes, but it was $6. I said, I know, like it was on sale. On sale? So sometimes they'll do these special things and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, well, I want to get it for $6. It's $9 right now,
Did I tell you guys that, or that I bought those Jay and Jimmy Uso wrestling figures on eBay?
No, I don't know about this.
Because I couldn't find them, and those are who he likes the most.
Was Jimmy's like $2 and Jay $100?
It was a 2-pack for $40.
Okay, Jimmy's getting the benefit of that, yeah.
But I couldn't find them. But then the guy sends them to me, and it's still got the Walmart sticker on them that he got them for $3.99. And I'm like, can you at least take the sticker off next time, dude?
At least let me think that you like.
Yeah. I mean, I understand. Like I've sold shit that I'm like, why would you want that for that much money? But that's what they paid for it. So that's what I paid for it. But I don't know. I just felt stupid. I already felt stupid. Then I felt more stupid.
Well, I'm sure talking about it on your podcast helped you feel less stupid about it.
You bitch.
10 years ago, I did interview the Usos when they were the tag team champions, and I got a picture with the belts. And
wow, they've come a long way.
One of them
Jay has.
One of them has. Jimmy's the one that's in legal trouble, right? Or is it Jay? Not currently, but frequently.
I think it was Jay.
Was it?
We have like drinking and couldn't get into Canada. What else you got?
All right, seeing as you didn't like my suggestion for the Bartometer, we'll skip that. This is one I particularly wanted to ask Grant about, and I was like leaning toward.
I see how it is.
A big hyper. Bart took himself off the screen for those who are watching this. He's back. I was leaning Grant toward like the idea of like this is a lost Brewers season already, and I think that's way too harsh in middle to late May. But your optimism for the outcome of this Brewers season is very low. Or
So this story about the 50-50 thing.
Can we stick to this for a moment?
Okay.
He expounded not once, but yes, we can come back.
I'll get into that another time.
Here's why my optimism is. It's not non-existent, right? It's fair to believe that Jackson Chourio is off to a slow start in his sophomore year and starts hitting better. Okay. I don't really have much optimism that Christian Yelich is going to, I don't know. I have very little optimism about him. I would have plenty of optimism about Contreras, but the bastard has a broken finger that he's intent on playing through. So unless he just like gets better at playing with a broken finger, which I guess could happen, like there's somewhat of a ceiling on that too. Yeah. So if two of those three guys, at least at one time, aren't awesome, then I don't know that this team has as much of a chance. Despite, through all the injuries, the bullpen and the starting rotation have mostly been pretty darn good. They've had bad games, but for the most part, the issue has been offense, and their three best hitters that are supposed to be like really high level hitter have been zeros or worse than zeros. They've been, negatives on the team. So there's a little optimism for Chourio, maybe a little bit for Contreras, but it's hard to get too carried away.
Yeah. So I want to say this, and then Bart, please respond as well. But I think when Grant, you consume almost every Brewers game, right? Like if not everyone.
Sadly, yeah.
So I've been kind of coming in and out, especially during NBA playoffs, of like, oh, I'm curious, oh, I'm not, and then like you look up and you see some of like the OPS numbers from the key hitters, and you're like, oh, so like there's probably multiple things wrong with the team, but when it all kind of piles up with the way that it is, when you just like quickly look at it, but I do want to ask you this. So again, if I just glance at the spreadsheet of Brewers offense, my go-to would be weighted runs created plus, because it's an average, or it like then says, here's everybody's stats, and here's who is above average 100 or greater, or who's below average 100 or greater. Grant, who do you think is the Brewers leader in weighted runs created plus?
Hoskins?
Yes. Who do you think is second? Give me just your top 5, just rather than being so methodical.
Hoskins would be 1, and then the next group, and I'm not an expert on the formula of weighted runs per created plus.
But like, I mean, you can,
The next group would maybe be fucking balls. Collins, Terang.
Terang is 4, Collins is 7.
Bowers?
Bowers is 2.
Of course he is. Yeah, so that's why I'm not optimistic about this team. I mean, Contreras probably isn't.
Contreras is 5. He's actually an above average offensive player this year across baseball. Not by a lot. 109 weighted runs created plus.
It's probably a big one that I'm missing.
Not really. I mean, so Hazy is 3.
Yeah, small sample size
31
guy.
plate appearances, right? Terang 4, Contreras 5. Frelick 6 is an above average offensive player this year. I know he's like your least favorite guy.
No, actually, I really like Sal Frelick now because now Caleb Durbin exists. So,
but here's your below average. Churio 81. So again, 19 points below MLB average. Yelich 77. That's 23 points below the MLB average. Garrett Mitchell 64. Durbin 51. Ortiz 24. But then again, you've given 41 plate appearances to Oliver Dunn, who's a 16. 12 plate appearances to Monasterio, who's a 4. A weighted runs of 4. Cameron minus 25. I didn't think that was possible. Vinny Capra minus 33. I did not know that was possible to be a minus 50, minus 33 weighted runs created plus. Yes, I think to your point, if Hoskins is 1, Bowers 2, and like, yes, I think what you said is probably a good summary, Grant. Like, so that's why I'm not optimistic.
Yeah, and there's some room for progression from Churio and maybe from Contreras, but I don't know what's up with Yelich. You know what I mean? Like, is his back just cooked? What's going on there? So, like, no, I'm not jumping up and down saying Yelich is about to figure it out. Churio maybe, Contreras a little, but I don't know that that'll be enough. You know what I mean?
Bart?
Let me just run down a list of things that bother me about this Brewers team, if I may. Regarding Yelich, you know how Keenan Thompson's still on the SNL cast, even though he's been there forever?
Yes.
But with every iteration of a new cast that comes, he fits in and is still the glue.
Huh.
He doesn't seem out of place ever at all. Yelich feels like you shouldn't be here. Like, it just feels like, I don't know. Something feels weird with that. I think Garrett Mitchell being hurt and not available.
Better than him playing. Not by much, but it's better than him playing.
But he's like a marketable guy.
He's good looking. Yeah.
Yeah,
he's great. He's better than good looking.
Baseball players to be good looking.
He's great looking.
And you know, because he was a part of that Bryce Terang, Sal Frelick. But it feels like it feels like there's a lot of different pieces to this team, and they don't quite mesh together as a team.
And they're not good.
And they're not good. We can't have Isaac Collins and Caleb Durbin. I can't tell them apart. I don't know who's the one that they got from the thing. I can't. It's too hard for me. The next 2 pitchers they're starting, Logan Henderson and Chad Patrick.
Mm-hmm. Carlos Rodriguez later this week.
Where did they come from? The one guy everyone's excited for, they won't call up, and Mizorowski.
Mm-hmm.
What else bothers me? Pat Murphy bringing his kids to the interviews. Why is that allowed? Also, Pat Murphy's like, we didn't spend any money. And everyone's like, shouldn't that be like a bigger deal when your manager says that?
Yeah.
It just doesn't, nothing seems to fit. I don't know. I'm just very bothered by it all. Like this team, I don't know. Just nothing. It doesn't, it's like I'm watching a movie and the actors are miscast.
They're not likable. This is what it comes down to.
It's not that they're not likable to me. It's just that, and again, maybe this is my detachment because, like you, Paul, I'm watching the NBA playoffs. I'm not on the local battlefields anymore.
You never were.
I
do think the Brewers and baseball in general is something like
Should I tell the story about how I drunk text the program director of the game that his station sucks, or not today?
You should do that on one of your individual live streams.
Yeah.
Okay.
Grant has a career to look out for here.
Well, probably, let's be real, it doesn't matter, but just covering my bases. George Wendt died. That's kind of sad.
What?
Yeah, I figured you would see it, but yeah.
Today?
Like 10 minutes ago. Well, it was announced like 10 minutes ago.
Who's his nephew? Somebody famous. Oh, Jason Sudeikis.
Really?
No shit.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Brewers will get more fun at some point. They are lucky to have the record that they have right now, which I think is actually a testament to the fact that they're still run pretty darn well, even if they were a little lazy this offseason and lots of things have gone wrong and Murphy a lot of times doesn't push the right buttons. But their record is still kind of hanging right in there around 500 because I think the overall structure of the thing that they've built and the way they've been running it for the last couple of years, I still think is solid.
Cheers is so fucking good. Cheers, the show.
Would you start it, like, would you recast it and start over?
Cheers?
Yeah.
No. You know what's funny though is when I was watching The Office, I noticed in Cheers that it was like a one set show.
Mm-hmm.
But then as you go deeper into the seasons, all of a sudden they're in someone's house, and then they're like, they have to find stories outside of the bar, and Office was the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And now Severance.
Yeah.
These shows that start one set, it's tough.
It's cheating, I think.
All right. Anything else for you?
Are the Packers going to get the tush push banned?
The theory is that they're the ones doing it because they don't have an owner to publicly shame.
And they have an outgoing president.
Yeah.
Too.
So they're not going to have, they'll take the heat for the rest of the teams.
Interesting.
It should be banned. You shouldn't be able to move a guy.
Agreed. These owners are such spineless.
And the playoff reseeding thing is stupid.
Yeah. Who's that in charge of that?
Lions.
Yeah. Well, if
you win your division and you're 6-11, you won your fucking division, man. Get a home game.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I think it'll get banned. We'll see.
You do. See, I
do. The Vegas odds have an 80% implication that it will be banned.
That's and I think that just because that's what I've been hearing. That's what I've been seeing. That's what people are tweeting.
Grant, Paul, thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I look forward to your big content dump on Monday.
Like and subscribe.
Grant, did I give you anything to go into your show with tonight? Did I feed you any material?
I think so. It's a quiet week, and I'm doing double duty the rest of the week, so I really need to get my butt in gear.
Do you want to guest at 4:30? I can come on.
Sure. Do you want to eulogize Norm from Cheers? I've never seen the show. But now I might have to go back and watch it because we're such Curb fans, and Ted Danson was in it, and we also like BoJack Horseman, and there's a scene where he talks about Becker as the show that like he always thought was going to get better, but then it never did.
Becker sucks.
That's a very good point.
But no. If I can, for 30 seconds, he's eulogizing his mom, who he hated, despised him, and he's like, my mom is dead, and it's a lot like Becker, whereas as long as the show was on, I always thought it could get there. But then when it got canceled, I knew that it would never get there. So even though I never really loved the show, that door is now closed, and that makes me sad. And that was his point about eulogizing his mom. So I might need to now reverse engineer it and watch Cheers, and then maybe I'm probably not going to watch Becker, but like I can watch some YouTube clips or something.
No, Becker, there's no reason there's no reason for that to ever. It was nothing. You're better off watching Ink. You know what that is?
No.
It was another sitcom he did with his wife for, I think, one season on CBS. They worked at a newspaper.
But Ted Danson's had a resurgence because people really like him in this new show now, right?
That and The Good Place.
Good, well, what's the other one called? Not The Good Place, but what's his other?
The new one, I don't know. Once it's on one of these, a comedy on a streaming service.
A comedy period in 2025. Let's be real. I mean, who's doing that?
You know what I'm going to do a pod on? I'm going to break down the 2025 network schedules.
You absolutely. I've been saying this for years. This is your niche.
I'm just gonna break it down. If you want to watch it, maybe that'll be part of my Monday content dump.
And to be clear, some of the best stuff you've done recently on the national show have been you talking about what's on MTV.
Yeah, my TV scheduling.
And you breaking down like the TV guide. I forget what the full angle was a few weeks ago, but
let's talk about the NFL schedule.
Yeah. This again, I think to Grant's point, this lane is yours.
No comments on my sweet hat, huh?
Your hat's fine.
I commented the room. What do you want? What more do you want?
It's a very needy friend, Grant.
No kidding.
No belated happy birthday. No belated happy birthday.
Was it your birthday yesterday?
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I got a Snapchat notification, but I had already sent a bunch of texts to the group, and you didn't respond to any of them. I was like, well, I don't want to.
What? I don't go on Snapchat.
Well, I know. It notified me because you're my friend on there, and it was your birthday. So happy belated, Bart. I apologize. Anything else?
I didn't know that either, buddy. Sorry.
No. And also, I don't care.
This couple minutes at the end probably didn't need to be in here, but
he says after prompting us, Grant, that he doesn't care at all.
A-hole.
Bye, dudes.
See you guys.
Bye, Paul.
Bye.
Do you want me to come on?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't want me to come on, I won't come on.
No, you come on. I would actually love that. That would make my life a lot easier tonight. Yeah. Send me the little audio of you saying, if you want me to come on, I'll come on. And I'll use that as a bumper to bring you in. That'll set it up well.
So I have to do work?
I don't want to hear it. I'll talk to you in a bit, Bart. Thank you. It's a pleasure to stop into the Winklerverse.